We have in the studio the Director General, National Automotive Design and Development Council, Oluwemimo Osanipin. I hope I'm getting that right. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. National Automotive Design and Development Council initiating this training for 50 technicians in Akure, focusing on automotive mechatronics. Just elaborate for us what sort of specific skills and competencies this program aims to impact on the participants.
Okay, let me first of all start by stating that the training is being organized in 6 states across the 6 geopolitical zones.
Okay.
So we have the mechatronic training going on in 3 states, that is Akure, Calabar, and Umuahia, and we have the heavy-duty training also going on in Kaduna, Abuja, and Yola, the same time simultaneously.
Okay.
So we have 50 in each of the locations. So we have about 50 times 6, which is 300 being trained currently. So we noticed that there was skill gap, especially when you look at the kind of vehicle we are having now. The vehicle of 20 years, 15 years ago, they are more of mechanical, but vehicles of today are more of electrical and electronics. So you need a different kind of skill sets to be able to maintain them. And there's no way you can take away maintenance from the performance of a vehicle, because if a vehicle is not properly maintained, even human being, if human being is not properly maintained, it's going to break down. If a vehicle is not properly maintained, the vehicle will not perform efficiently, and this is why we are organizing this training. And you remember that the part of the Renew Hope agenda is capacity building in order to provide a job opportunity for the youth. So that's part of the Renew Hope agenda of this administration, to build capacity among the youth.
You've talked about the challenges in servicing modern vehicles in Nigeria, which prompted this the council. And I think we also read in that story that the council conducted a skill gap analysis. What were some of the key findings in the analysis? So
one of the major findings there is that the Nigerians technicians are good in mechanical aspects, but we are lacking when it comes to electrical and electronic aspects. Is most of the technicians we have nowadays, they find it difficult that using diagnostic machine to even know where the fault is. So we don't want them to start using trial and error again. So we want to equip them, we want them to use the right tools. They will need to have the right skill and then use the right tool. These are the main reason why we are doing this, because we notice almost 80% of the problem we are having is attributable to issues caused by electrical and electronic part of the vehicle.
And why is there such a gap, do you think, when it comes to these electrical issues? And I wanted to ask you, the training, what's the timeline? How long is it going to be? And is there a plan to expand? Because you keep saying, look, Nigerian technicians don't understand. So clearly there has to be a bigger plan. So was there a timeline? How long is the training? Excuse me, is there a plan to sort of expand and include more technicians?
No, it's not that Nigerian technicians don't understand. We are only saying new vehicles that are coming, they need to up their skill in order to be able to perform efficiently. That is, did the technician be able to perform efficiently? Just as we've said now, we are going, this year alone, we have the plan of training nothing less than 1,200 technicians across the whole country, and we are going to train people in each of the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja. So, and part of the training program is that when we train some, they have to go back and train others. Because if you look at the way the technician operates in Nigeria, at least each of the technicians have 2 or 3 people they are mentoring. And then we are saying, when you acquire this skill, try as much as possible to mentor others. And that's part of the training we are giving them. We are not only giving them only technical, we want them to know that this is a big business. Being an auto technician is a big business. Don't see yourself as a roadside mechanic. See yourself as an entrepreneur. So we are taking them also some courses on how to manage their finances and then how to run a proper business. So they must see themselves as entrepreneurs and then see how they can run this proper business and then be able to network. Because if you train together, you train 50 people together, we still ask them to exchange your contact, be able to talk to one another and then be able to compare notes. So if you have a challenge, you'll be able to call someone who will be able to offer different ideas and see how we can work together.
And this training has started in the
it's
different
ongoing.
Places that and how long will it last?
It's going to last for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's 21 automotive training centers across the country?
Yes, currently.
Currently. How are these centers, are they sort of integrated with existing educational institutions, and what sort of measures are put in place to make sure that they are up to international standards? Okay,
so the first thing is our training is based on curriculum defined by Sector Skill Council. Sector Skill Council is made up of stakeholders in auto sector. We have the academicians, the technicians, motor vehicle assembler, motor vehicle dealers, NAPTEP, or a lot of stakeholders came together and we produce what is known today as that's National Occupational Standard for automotive industry. This is the curriculum we are using for training. And this year between now and third quarter, we are going to produce the manual because we are going to develop the manual from the curriculum. And this curriculum is of different stages. So we use part of the curriculum to do the training for technician. Part of the curriculum can be used to train those in technical school, those in university, study mechatronics in university. And this curriculum make that certificate, because after you have passed through using this curriculum for training, you are going to be awarded certificates of proficiency. And that certificate, after, if you use the curriculum, is going to be awarded by NBT. So, but this particular training is not up to that stage. So gradually, we are discussing. We have universities. This year, we are going to go more into technical schools. But before now, we've been working more with universities in designing this.
And when you talk about this, I remember when you were talking about how technicians always have 2 or 3 or more people who are working behind them, and how these technicians you envision would go ahead and train other people. What sort of impact do you see when it comes to job creation and job growth in the country?
Yes, it's going to be massive, because if you listen to the news or when you played the other time, while we were in Akure, we visited the test center. The test center put in place by the state government. And in 2024, the test center tested 78,000 vehicles. So we have also asked them to go further, to do more than that. We are looking at, in 2025, they should be able to do close to 150 to 200,000 tests of vehicles, which means test them for roadworthiness. And you will see that at the end of the day, greater percentage of the vehicle failed the test. And what that means that when a vehicle failed the test, you have to go back to workshop, to go to mechanics for them to work on them. So it means a lot of jobs are going to be created through that. But you have to have the capacity. And that's why we are building the capacity for the job that is coming. If you go through the Renew Hope Agenda document, there's a place it said that some of our youth are underemployed. So those ones that are working, the technicians that are working that don't have required knowledge, those ones belong to that grade of underemployment people. And we need to move them to fully employed. So that's why we are doing part of this training. So those 2, 3, 4 that are being mentored, those ones, we need to up their skill so that they move from that underemployment to full employment, and a lot of employment can be generated through this.
And quickly, how are these technicians picked, the participants? Do they apply? Are they hand-chosen? Can anybody just apply?
Okay. We work with NATA. NATA is the National Auto Technician Association, and we work with Motem. That's Motor Mechanics Association of Nigeria. So we contact them in each of the states, and they bring their representative across the whole state, so that every local government will be represented in that, so that by the time they go back, they will be able to train other people from different local governments. So what we do is we work with the association directly, and they provide the
It's a good initiative that you're embarking on, and I think here at Arise News we would like to follow up on that. That's why I kept asking you, how long is it, how long is it? Maybe we can have one or two of the technicians and talk to them, and even go to their workshop and understand what the skills that they've garnered and how it's helping them. But a little bit away from the training, I know that you're passionate about Nigeria becoming an auto manufacturing country, where you have people who are saying, are we really up to the task? Are we there yet? What are your thoughts?
Yes, we have to start from somewhere, and we have started. When we ask, are we there yet? But we have the like of Innocent producing vehicles. We have the like of NADDC, NADDC. A lot of them are producing
manufacturing or assembling.
And we even have like Innocent is manufacturing vehicles, because when Innocent builds chassis, do painting. So these are what most of the well-known vehicle manufacturers are doing. And you go to Dangote Truck, for example, they do everything. So let me say something here, that no OEM, no major manufacturer vehicle from beginning to the end. They have OEM that produce engine for them. They have those ones that produce some of these parts for them. They own the design and then bring them together. The same thing with what Dangote Truck is doing, and the same thing Innocent is doing. If you look at truck business in Nigeria, for example, majority of the trucks you see on Nigerian road are new. Majority of them, in fact, more than 80% of them are manufactured right in Nigeria. That's most of the trucks. So the same thing we want to do, because we know that the technology for SUV, passenger car is far, far more advanced to truck. But again, we need to train our people, and we need to start moving gradually to that. Today, we are working with some youths, young Nigerian, because we had a program sometime last year where a Nigerian designed a very beautiful car. So we threw the competition to them, and that competition was won by a student of Yabatech. He won based on the design. The juries, they picked him as the best, and he won an electric vehicle. So again, we believe if a student can do this, we are working with other people that have this idea, and we are going to do more by producing vehicles that have a lot of local content. So what we are having now have little local content, and that's why we are working with them to look inward. Let's look inward, because most of these things can be sourced. We may not be able to sell them at commercial quantity, but let's first of all identify them, and that's what we are doing with local component development. We are working backward to now identify those components that we may be able to produce here in Nigeria.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's what they say, and we'll get there one day. Yes. You've been talking to Oluwemimo Osanipin, who is the DG of National Automotive Design and Development Council. We've been talking about Nigeria's auto mech training. Thank you so much for being here on Newsnight.